Chapter 44, Disc. As the end of the term drew nearer, everyone started working on their final projects. There would be a competition a few decairns before finals, and a handful of finalists would get to go to Econ for an orn. They, along with final term students from other schools, would present their projects to their respective departments. After that was over, they were all invited to tour Econ, and even traditionally, had an opportunity to sit in on a council session in the High Council Hall. Personally, I didn't care about the competition, and the idea of presenting at the Academy in the perpetually overcrowded Econ Central sector didn't really appeal to me. But I'd made the mistake of agreeing to work together with Ratchet, who would never settle for doing a mediocre job on a school assignment. Searchlight had gotten together with a group of government emphases, and they had developed a new kind of system of government. It had started as a joke between them in their law class, which was apparently the most boring class on campus. Even Searchlight declared more boring than geology. But then they'd gotten serious about it and started developing it. Their mentor had told them they should get together and make it into their project, and they had done that. Breeze had figured she'd do a project on speech impediments because she had some experience working with them and had done some research on it before. Ratchet and I had designed and built a prototype for a medical instrument that was safe to use on a damaged spark chamber. Most equipment was disruptive of spark energy and often caused as much damage to the spark itself as it fixed to the physical systems. We had needed to combine our knowledge of technology and medicine to make it. Of course, we couldn't say for certain that it was useful because testing it was a bad idea. The other group Cable Reach was mentoring was a different story. Okay, session 17, test 1. Wheeljack said. Go for it, Shocky. Shockwave flipped a lever and the large circular frame they'd set up in the yard of the school lit up. About 20 students were sitting on the ground or standing, watching. It was after school let out, so the crowd was mostly students who boarded at the school. Streams of shifting, colorful plasma twisted and connected in the frame, forming a thin sheet. Another congruent plane appeared at the other end of the yard where a second group of students was waiting. They cheered. Okay, Wheeljack said. Ready. Send it through, Shockwave said. The little remote control plane lifted off from the ground as Wheeljack piloted it. It hovered for a moment, then flew toward the portal. Everyone watched as it approached. In the moments before it touched the sheet of blue-green plasma, the whole yard was quiet. Then it flew through and came out the portal on the other end of the yard. The students there cheered, then screamed as the plane veered toward them and then crashed to the ground. Oops, Wheeljack said. Shockwave looked at him. I wasn't trying to do that. I lost control of the plane. I don't think that's supposed to happen. It shouldn't have lost signal long enough to stop working. I mean, at least it should have been able to pick up again as soon as it came out the other side of the bridge. We're going to have to do more tests before we send anything alive through. I wonder what went wrong. I'll go get the plane. He jogged across the yard. Maybe UMEC should have done a double-blind analysis on it first, Searchlight said quietly to Shockwave, who let out a stifled snort and shook his helm as he studied the controls, making sure everything was working properly. You know we only have 5 decairns before presenting, Bree said. Shouldn't you have been testing this earlier? I suppose, Shockwave said, but this project was more about the building than the functionality. Even if we can get it fully operational, it won't be much use. We had to get a special permit to test it, and we have to dismantle it after the presentations are over. Oh, Bree said. That's kind of depressing. Wheeljack came running back, grinning. Guess what happened? He said. You'll never guess. Shockwave shrugged. I didn't lose control of it, Wheeljack's grin widened. So then what happened? Shockwave asked. You said you didn't crash it on purpose. Wheeljack flipped the plane over. It came out upside down. Oh, Shockwave said. Now I wonder why exactly that happened. Let me see it. Ratchet took the crumpled plane from Wheeljack's hands. How do you know it didn't just roll? Well, they said it came out upside down. And it went exactly the opposite of the way I was steering it. I'm going to have to fix it now. I guess that can be an excuse to add a booster, so it can go faster. I wonder if I could get it fast enough to reach escape velocity. It's kind of small for that. If he made that thing go at escape velocity speeds, it would break itself apart. Wheeljack said. Can I have that back? Ratchet handed him the broken toy plane. Shockwave shut down their ground bridge. So it came out upside down. Yeah, Wheeljack said. Hey, that would be really crazy to walk through and come out upside down on the other end. I kind of want to try it. Oh, Primus, please no, let's not. Please, Jackie, I don't want you to die. It would be really interesting though. Probably kind of disorienting. I wonder if we can get something alive. Maybe a turbo rat or something, or if Soundwave would let me borrow one of his symbiotes. No, I would not. No, Shockwave said again. Really, we haven't tested it on anything with a spark yet. We can't start that until we know the rest of it is working. Sure, Wheeljack said. But we aren't going to be able to fly anything through until I fix this. He held up the crashed plane. Turn it back on, Searchlight pulled out his datapad. We can toss this through. Are you sure? Wheeljack said. You might not get it back. It'll be fine. Ratchet snatched the datapad from him. This is a library book. Oh, Searchlight said. Yeah. Here, Breeze unspaced a wide, flat disk. This should do. She opened it and dumped out a bunch of datapad styluses of different sizes and with different tips. I can store these separately if you lose it. Searchlight took it and stood in front of the now empty framework of the bridge. Shockwave turned it back on and everyone watched again as the portal opened up on the other side of the yard. I'll go catch it on the other side, Wheeljack said. Throw it with the darker side up. He sprinted across the yard to the glowing portal on the other side. Ready. Searchlight called. Ready. Searchlight spun the disc as he tossed it and it went sailing through the portal about mid-level. Wheeljack caught it on the other end. He held it up. It's upside down. We should test it a few more times, Shockwave said, but not loud enough for the other end to hear. Send it back. Searchlight shouted. Wheeljack sent it back through the portal. Now, Shockwave said, I want to know if the whole portal is upside down, or if the object is getting flipped over, because that makes a big difference. Searchlight nodded. He tossed the disc through so it entered the very bottom of the portal. It was hard to see because of the distance, but it looked like it came out the top of the other end. Wheeljack missed it and it went sailing over his helm. Someone in the crowd caught it and threw it back through. It went in near the top and came out on the bottom on Searchlight's end. Searchlight dove forward to catch it and almost went through the ground bridge. No. Shockwave gasped. Searchlight. Breeze took half a step forward as Searchlight got up and backed away from the bridge. What? He said. You almost got yourself killed. Ratchet said. Sorry. I am so sorry, Shockwave powered down the ground bridge. It's not your fault, Ratchet told him. This idiot has a death wish. Sorry, Searchlight grinned. I wasn't going to go through, I'm not that stupid. I was fine. And besides, there's no guarantee that going through would kill me or anything. Everything okay? Wheeljack shouted from the other end of the yard. We're fine. Searchlight replied. Wheeljack jogged over to us. Okay, he said. So I think that means the whole portal's upside down now. What could be causing that? Shockwave shrugged and opened up the control panel. If we can't figure it out in a few breams, we might need to ask Cable or Reach. Soundwave, do you have any ideas? I mean, I know it's not your project, but he's good at this sort of thing, though. Only because I picked up on their thoughts. The crowd dissipated as Wheeljack, Shockwave and I crouched around the control panel. I'd never seen the inside of it. They'd talked a lot about this project over the last term, but they'd kept it pretty secret and hadn't shown anyone until they'd started testing. I think you should keep it upside down, Searchlight said. It would be a lot more fun that way. You could make a game with that disc. Why isn't there a game like that? There should be. Well, if we can figure out why it's upside down, Wheeljack said, we might be able to make it switch back and forth if we want. From my limited knowledge about ground bridge machinery, most of it picked by listening to these two work on this project, everything looked right. I don't know, I said. You should ask Cable or Reach about it. Shockwave nodded. I was afraid we were going to have to do that. But that's inevitable, I guess. We'd better put it away for now. No point in further tests until we've got the problem cleared up. Searchlight, Ratchet, Breeze, and I walked slowly back to Searchlight's room while Breeze put her styluses back in the flat container. Hey, Breeze, Searchlight said. Can I borrow that sometime? Borrow what? The disc thing. I have an idea. We could totally make up a game with that. It flies through the air so nicely. I guess, Breeze said. Let's go to the park next door, Searchlight said. Okay. Sure, Breeze said. Why? To test something. Breeze looked at me. To test what? Don't tell her, Searchlight said. Not yet. It's not that exciting, I said. Searchlight shook his helm. To you, maybe. I think it could be awesome. But we'll see. Next door. If you came up with the idea, Ratchet said, you can count me out. No, Searchlight said. I promise it's not stupid or dangerous. Or embarrassing. That either. Or utterly pointless. Ratchet, you have no faith in me. We're going to need you along, though. We might need a medic. You said it wasn't. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Ratchet, calm down. Ratchet sat down at his desk, grumbling about something. I swear, I've been his roommate for a fortnight and a half and he still takes everything I say seriously. Well, that was Ratchet for you. The next door and after classes, we all went to the park. My range had been expanding, maybe faster than before, but it wasn't a problem yet, so walking through Collis wasn't going to give me a processor ache. It would be another fortnight, most likely, before I had much trouble with my mind reading. Searchlight led us to a part of the park that was a flat, metal field with a few hills bordering one side. Okay, he said. Breeze, can I have your disc thing? Breeze unsubspaced the container. You know what, just the lid would be fine, Searchlight said. Sure. She popped off the lid and handed it to him, then subspaced the rest. Okay, Searchlight took several steps back. Think fast, Wave. He flicked the disc in my direction. It sailed through the air, spinning. I was already ready, of course, and stepped once to the side to catch it. Then I sent it spinning back in Searchlight's direction. Spectacular, Ratchet said. You can throw it at each other. So what? So what? Searchlight said. Are you kidding? You could make up an entire sport from this. Come on, let's think up some game rules and try it. Well, Breeze thought. If he really wants to. We spent the rest of the orn tossing the disc around and trying to come up with good rules for a game. The next orn, Searchlight and Breeze invited friends from their other classes, and we had about 10 mecha come to the park with us. Searchlight split us up into teams and we played around with the disc for a draw or so. After that, almost everyone went home, but there were still enough hanging around for Searchlight to keep experimenting with new rules. I dropped out and went to sit by Shockwave, who had come because Wheeljack had dragged him. Wheeljack was one of the mechs still playing. Hi, Soundwave, Shockwave said. You know, I've never been to this park before. It's pretty nice here. I nodded. Shockwave looked down at the datapad he was holding. Have you figured out why the bridge was upside down? I asked. Not yet, Shockwave said. Cable or Reach was stumped too. We went all through the panel and couldn't find anything wrong with it. Maybe you have some coordinates reversed somewhere. You need coordinates on 6 different dimensions, right? 12 if you want to send mecha through, Shockwave said. And yes. Maybe some of the vectors are backwards. I'll double check that. Thanks, Soundwave. I shrugged. We watched Searchlight and the others play until the sun was starting to go down, and then we all headed back to the school or home. Searchlight perfected his game over the next Decaron. He convinced Breeze to design a nicer disc for the purpose and talked one of the other students into making it. Wheeljack volunteered for that, but Searchlight politely turned him down. He just needed a flat piece of metal. That was part of the charm of the game, that the equipment wasn't robotic, didn't fly itself, and most of all didn't malfunction and explode. By the end of the Cortex, the whole school was playing it, and we'd seen other mecha at the park playing too. It was kind of bizarre, actually. Just a few Decarons before, the game hadn't even existed, and now it was everywhere. They called it Disc, which wasn't a particularly imaginative name, but it worked. It's just a fad, Ratchet said. We were at the park. Ratchet and I were sitting off to the side, doing homework while my symbiotes played for me. Ravage was actually quite proficient at catching the disc in his mouth and throwing it too. Rumble and Frenzy tripped over each other a lot, but they had plenty of fun. And Laserbeak enjoyed ruining the game for everyone else by knocking the disc out of the air at each possible opportunity. You're just jealous, Searchlight called as he passed the disc to Breeze. Because something I came up with ended up being popular. No such thing, Ratchet said. Anything that comes this fast goes away even faster. In another Decaron or two, we'll all have forgotten it. Pessimist, Searchlight caught the disc again and got knocked over by Ravage. He spun the disc in Rumble and Frenzy's direction. They both lunged for it, caught it, then started fighting over it, each insisting that it had been meant for him. 3 flying alt modes went by over Helm. I didn't glance up, but Ratchet did, and was a little surprised to note that they were Seekers. Seekers weren't entirely uncommon to see in the air, but they didn't often fly this low. In fact, were they? They came down nearby and transformed just a little ways away. One of them was familiar. Hey. Searchlight waved, noticing them. Thundercracker. Thundercracker walked over. What are you doing? He asked. I went to the school, but you weren't there, so I thought I'd come here to look. Searchlight pulled the seeker into a quick hug, which startled him, and startled the other two seekers even more. I stood up. Thunder, mech, Searchlight said. It's been most of a forn since we've seen you. How are you? Good, Thundercracker waved the other two forward. Mechs, these are my friends, Starscream and Skywarp, and this is Searchlight, Soundwave, Breeze, and Ratchet. The light gray one, Starscream, scowled. Yes, here they are. Poor Thundercracker, forced to befriend lowly ground pounders. We've met them now, let's get out of here. Wait a Nostroskin, Thundercracker said. It's been ages, I want to talk to them for a few breams. Starscream crossed his arms. We need to cure you of this little obsession, Thundercracker, it's not healthy. Oh, Primus, he's in one of these moods again, just give me a bream to talk to them, would you? Starscream rolled his optics. I suppose, he said. Come here, Warp, Thundercracker said, waving the purple seeker forward. Skywarp made a face. Ew, gross, he doesn't want me to try to talk to them, does he? What are you playing? Thundercracker asked. It's a game Searchlight made up, Breeze said. It's getting pretty popular. Thundercracker nodded. That's cool. Wow, it really has been a long time, hasn't it? I'm a little surprised Searchlight hasn't managed to get any of them killed. He had come close once or twice. Yep, Searchlight said. I don't think I really like those other seekers. But maybe they're just like Thundercracker, and they're not so bad once you get past the unfriendliness. Hey, you mechs want to play? No, Starscream looked down his olfactory sensor at us. Sure, Thundercracker said. We can play. Is he really? Did he really just? Fine. Fine then, Starscream said. You can stay here. I'm leaving. See you in Yukon if you decide to show up. He transformed and flew away. Slag it, Thundercracker thought. I knew this would happen. Skywarp shrugged. Oh, well, guess we're going. See ya, Thundercracker. Wait, Thundercracker said. Warp, come on. Skywarp hesitated. Sorry, Thundercracker, he said with a guilty smile. But you're crazy coming down here to talk to them. He disappeared. Just blinked out of existence. Searchlight, Breeze, and Ratchet stared at the place the seeker had just been standing. Thundercracker let out a long-suffering sigh. What just happened? Searchlight said. He teleported, I explained. I'm sorry about them, Thundercracker said. They're usually not that rude. Actually, that's a lie. Teleported. Can mecha even. You think someone could learn to do that? That would be so cool. No, Thundercracker said. It's one of those mods that get passed down through wealthy lines. Oh. Searchlight was disappointed. They sure left in a hurry, Bree said, crossing her arms. They've never been out of Voss before, Thundercracker said, feeling a little defensive. They just have it stuck in their helms that everyone down here is stupid. Maybe you should find some new friends then, Ratchet said. They're downright unpleasant. Thundercracker frowned and all of us could see the seeker and him suddenly. Ratchet, you're unpleasant if memory serves. Maybe they should replace you? Besides, we're a Trin. Ratchet rolled his optics. Sorry. That's all right, Thundercracker said coolly, then turned to face me. How are you, Soundwave? I'm doing well. Thundercracker smiled. Hey, look at that, no stutter. So how about you? Searchlight said. Brothers, huh? That's cool. I'm good, Thundercracker said. And yes. We decided to be a Trin. It's good to have someone watching your back, especially since all three of us are outcasts in a way. You get along with them well enough to want to be siblings? Breeze asked. I find that hard to believe. But maybe that was just that Starscream one, and maybe he was just in a bad mood. He could be nice. We haven't seen enough of him to make judgments like that. I didn't think so. Skywarp had at least felt bad for leaving Thundercracker here. Yeah, Thundercracker said. Most of the time. Starscream's kind of moody, and Warp likes to pull pranks on anything with two wings, so I've got my hands full trying to keep them from each other's throats, but most of the time we get along really well. I lost a lot of my old friends after I got back from spending a term here, so I'm lucky to have them. We made our own merry band of misfits. Screamer and Warp and Tealwing and Andromeda and I. Who's Trin leader? Ratchet asked. I bet it's that obnoxious one. Starscream, Thundercracker said. You're all graduating this term, right? Yep, Searchlight said. You. Yes, Thundercracker said. Then we're going to the Flight Academy in Voss. I'm not really sure what we're going to do after that. I'm sure Starscream would be happy to go into politics and try to take over the whole city, but I'm going to have to talk him out of that somehow. A group of students from the school were headed in our direction. They weren't in my range yet, but I could see them coming. Hi, Searchlight, one of them said. We need a few more players for Disc. You look a little short on mechs too. Want to join? Oh, wow, a seeker. How does Searchlight know a seeker? Searchlight said. I would. I want to learn to play, Thundercracker said. I'd be fine watching for a while. I got up to join the game and even Ratchet was coerced into playing. Then the other two seekers came back. All right, Starscream said. We'll play the stupid little game your pet ground pounder came up with, and then we'll go, all right. Yeah, Thundercracker said. That's fine. Thanks, Starscream, I owe you. Don't forget it, Starscream said. Then glared at Searchlight. How does one play this game? What are the rules? There were 12 of us, not including my symbiotes. The Seekers wanted to be on their own team, though, and it was a good thing we let them because 12 of us against 3 Seekers were about evenly matched. The Seekers flew low to the ground, transforming to catch and throw. Anyone who had a flying alt mode Searchlight, myself, and one of the other students, flew around, trying to knock the disc out of the air into the students below. When our side had it, we were just desperately trying to keep it away from the Seekers while still following the rules of the game above all else. Do not let the disc touch the ground. Laserbeak, incidentally, was the best at stealing the disc from the Seekers. Whenever the disc did get taken from them, Skywarp went down on the ground and rapidly teleported from place to place, trying to get it back. The way you scored a point, according to our previous rules, was to make 10 passes without the disc getting taken by the other side. If your team was the last to touch the disc when it hit the ground, you lost a point. Sometimes at the end of the game, the scores were something like -5 to -1. But the fact that it was so challenging to score didn't seem to bother anyone. It just meant scoring was more of a triumph. The Seekers had meant to stay for a quick game, but it was nearly sundown before it was over. Skywarp made a particularly low dive to catch the disc and everyone had to jump out of the way to avoid getting run over when he plowed into the ground. There was a brief moment where everyone stared, shocked at the down seeker. I win. Skywarp shouted, holding up the disc. Thundercracker and Starscream landed and all the ground team rushed over, laughing, to help Skywarp up. He accepted an offered hand and got to his puds, brushing himself off. I knew this was a bad idea, Starscream said. You should have listened to me in the first place. I'm fine, Screamer, Skywarp said. See. That was a lot of fun. Thundercracker nodded. Thanks for the game. Thanks for joining, Searchlight said. He was scuffed and dented and exhausted and the rest of us weren't much better, but even Ratchet would have to admit that was fun. That was twice as exciting with Seekers. Of course it was, Starscream sneered. Don't they realize how superior we are to them? Come to think of it, though we're going to have to take that game home with us. We can say I invented it. Thundercracker was right, Skywarp thought. That was fun. The ground pounders aren't so bad, after all. I like them. They come up with good games. I bet that'd be 10 times as fun in Foss with a bunch of other Seekers. Well, Thundercracker said. I think we have to go. It was great seeing you, Searchlight. May we meet again somewhere. Soundwave, you too. And Ratchet and Breeze. Come on, let's go. Starscream transformed and flew off and Skywarp followed him. I'll talk them into letting me drop by next time we're in the area, Thundercracker promised, then followed them away into the sky. My symbiotes were exhausted so I carried them all back to school despite being tired myself. We all trudged to Okra's office. She was one of the few who disapproved of Disc, and she wasn't very sympathetic. She roped a tired and grumpy Ratchet into helping her pop out dents and realign joints, and she was none too happy herself, but the excitement from the game hadn't worn off yet, so everyone else was cheerful. I lay on my berth that off cycle for a while, wondering how far Disc was going to go. It had spread through the school in our little part of Collis, but now it was going to Voss. Where else would it spread? Yes, it was strange to see something Searchlight had come up with go all over the place. But at the same time, I shouldn't have been surprised. He was Searchlight, after all.